All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. It is Monday, August 22nd, 2022, excuse me. Marcel, man, how's it going? What a crazy weekend of fights. We got a lot of fights talking about, just a wacky event. We'll have to go on there. And as our friend Glenn here in the chat says, you hit 50,000 followers on Twitter. I know you're excited about that, Marcel. So good job, man. How's everything going with you, man?
Everything is going well. Thank you, by the way, guys. Yeah, everything is going well. Crap load of fights this weekend, Now we don't have UFC the upcoming week, but we have CFFC, crazy card with some grappling as well, I think a day later. But yeah, it's all good, man. How about you?
Doing okay, man. I'm glad to be here with you today, Marcel, on Monday. We'll talk about UFC 278. Man, lots to talk about from this card. We'll also recap PFL. We'll recap Contender Series. So we'll do it for the first hour. And then after that, obviously, there's no UFC event this weekend. It's like a first off week, Marcel. I think, since April maybe? Like, it's been a while since we had a week off, right?
It's a damn long time, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So it is nice to get a week off. I love watching the fights, but once in a while, it is nice just to have a week to chill. I'm going away this weekend for a couple of days, so that'll be awesome, Marcel. It's one of the rare weekends right off, so I wanted to take advantage of it. So going away
for sure.
Days. Yeah, but anyways,
UFC,
in the meantime,
UFC just announced officially Cannonier Strickland main event.
What October 15th?
October 15, yeah.
5 rounds in Vegas, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
That one? Okay.
Yeah, it's
fixed. How's it going, man? All right, let's get into the card, Marcel. Like, let's just start doing it because there's so much to talk about from this card. I just feel like,
sure.
Yeah, this is a crazy card. It really was a pretty epic card. So let's just start the main event. Marcel, man, I really want to pick Edwards. I was so close to picking him. Like, outright, I was so close. Like, I was right there. I had him, and I just, I rewatched the first fight again. The takedowns. I figured, okay, he probably can just wrestle it. And Marcel, for about 24 minutes, it looked like that was going to happen. And then bang out of nowhere with less than a minute left, Leon Edwards lands a head kick. I was like falling asleep. I'm not gonna lie. I was lying in my bed, and I'm like, all right, Usman's gonna win decision, whatever. Bang. I'm like, holy shit. Like, just crazy. And again, MMA, this happens so often, Marcel, where we just see these crazy things happen. And that's why you can never be too sure about an outcome. That's why I always say, like, you never know. You never really know. And in this fight, like, again, 24 plus minutes controlled by Usman for the most part. After a tough first round, he wins the next 3. He's up 3-1, and then left head kick knocks him out cold. That's the end of the streak for Usman. Now Edwards is a champion. Just insane. Like, it could change in a split moment. Everything. Your whole career, your trajectory. Like, this changes Usman's career. It changes his legacy in the sport. It changes everything. Like, had he won this fight, he would have tied Anderson Silva 16 straight wins. And then he could have had 17 straight wins against someone else. He would have been a champion. He would have made more money. He could have went to boxing and fight Canelo. This is a tough loss for him. I mean, obviously, it sets up a big trilogy, and we're going to look forward to that trilogy. It's going to be awesome. But Marcel, he's not the champion anymore. This is a big loss for Usman. And for Edwards, obviously, that kick changed his whole life. This will change his entire life. He was down on the cards and came out there and knocked him out cold. It's unbelievable. It really is. For me, the Yuri Glover comeback was insane earlier this year, but I feel like this is probably the craziest comeback I've ever seen. And it might be even crazier than like Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen, Marcel. Because even in that fight, I remember watching that fight, I still thought there was a chance Anderson could win that fight because he was the greatest fighter of all time at the moment. In this case, I really thought that Edwards was done. I was like, "There's like, how often do we see this happen where a guy's losing the whole fight and then the last minute gets knocked out? Like, that's very rare, especially in this highest caliber of the sport. If he had won in the first round, like with that first round mount and where he had the dominant position on the ground, like that's a different story. Like, because you're like, okay, it happened in the first round, he won fair and square. And I'm not saying he didn't win fair and square because he did, but it's just like very shocking, I still can't get over this, guys. I can't believe this happened. Like, he was a minute away from losing a unanimous decision, Marcel, and he wins the title now. Now he's the champ. Now Leon Edwards is the UFC champ. It's just fucking crazy to me. I want to hear your thoughts, man. Give me your thoughts. Like, how did you react? Because I was like, what just happened? Like, literally. Go ahead. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Well, yeah, it's actually funny. So I was watching the stream, like the Dutch stream, but the Dutch stream was kind of like 10 seconds like behind the American stream, So I was also on Twitter. I was scrolling. I was like, oh my God. But in my mind, I didn't cross like, oh, there was something going to happen, for some reason. I was like, this is such a one-sided fight at a certain moment. Oh my God. And I was like, oh, I hear on TV. And then I see Usman laying down on the canvas, It's like, what the hell just happened? I didn't even saw it until the how do you say that? Until they showed it again. Yeah, the replay. And he got head kicked. Yeah, man. I mean, what can you say, man? First round was a good round for Edwards, but after that, Usman took over. Kind of did what I expected him to do, in those rounds. And then Edwards got the knockout. It was a great moment, I think, made it extra sweet. And actually, I think Cejudo released his own clip.
I love seeing Ali cry. It's awesome.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, not even that, but Cejudo was like, oh, Ali, man, easy money, dude, easy money. So it's like, it was super underestimating Edwards. And then they were like, oh my God, what happened? And also, I know you don't particularly agree with me on this thing, but keep your fucking kids away from the octagon. You saw Usman's daughter crying, screaming, shouldn't be around the cage, in my opinion. I understand you want your family there, you want to experience them as well. Not a good thing, At a certain age, maybe take your kids with you.
Can I tell you something hilarious? I'm going to tell you something funny. So I was watching the card, and I put I usually just watch by myself, but the kids were still up because I was watching the prelims, right? So I had my daughter and my niece there, and watched the first fight, and it was fucking brutal. Those elbows, And I got in trouble for letting the kids watch the fight with me. So I totally agree with what you're saying. This is violent shit, and I was like, oh my God, these elbows. And I'm like, oh crap, I have like 2 little kids. You should be watching this.
Yeah, the thing is, man, for us, we can separate it from being like a sport and being, but with kids, they see that. It's like, oh my God, and they don't have like the common sense with that yet because they're still young and have our kids, So for me, listen, man, she's probably good now, Usman's daughter, but man, I feel like, Usman always won when she was there. You know what I mean? He lost early in his career when his daughter wasn't even there yet. So she only saw him winning, and then losing like that. That's hard. And if you close there, you see people cheering for it. Other people were also were not crying, but were sad about it. So for me, it's like there is some kind of a thing with bringing your kids to your fights some reason as of lately, man. Nina Nunes, Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena. I mean, what the hell? I don't understand it, but whatever. Maybe you need to be a dad to understand it. You probably understand it a little bit better than I do. But overall, great performance by Edwards. I mean, a great knockout, I should say. Performance, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there should be an immediate rematch, in my opinion, because Usman has been that much of a dominant champion. And to be really honest, I absolutely loved it that he won. I think he's a great dude. I loved his interviews afterwards. What I saw and also before, looked like really down to earth guy who works really hard. If you ask me a rematch who will win, I'd still favor Usman probably.
The odds are out, by the way, and Usman's a favorite. He's like minus 350 or something. So I mean, you'd have to be favored because he was winning like almost the whole fight, right? But again, it's MMA guys. Yeah, he's minus 350 and plus 285 on Edwards. So it's almost like the same odds, to be honest with you. It's really not changed, Just craziness, guys. Just fucking crazy. Let me ask you a question. Were you on the train that was like Usman's the greatest welterweight, or did you think it was GSP? Because I always thought it was GSP.
Listen, man, I look at title defenses, and that's very important to me. And GSP has 9. Usman had 5.
Yes.
Hughes had 5, and had actually 7 with 2 title runs, So for me, he wasn't there yet. And you can say like people probably gonna say like Usman had the better competition because he fight the more complete fighters. You can't do it like that. You know what I mean? I mean, then you would say like champs from 10 years ago don't even matter anymore. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. It's just like it's obviously the fighters of today are better than the fighters of yesterday. I think we all know that, right? But you have to be who's like in the present moment, and GSP beat everyone except for Johnny Hendricks, in my opinion. But and Matt Serra. But
I agree with you, but he still has that win on his record, and he has 2 losses on his record, and he defeated both guys after that. So
in the first round, how much were you thinking about that Jose Caceres fight when he had his neck, Edwards? I was like, this is the same fight over again. Oh my God, it's gonna happen right now. Like I was thinking that myself.
Same, man. Same. I was like, damn, dude, maybe he's gonna finish him the first round.
Yeah, man.
But after that, it was kind of a lackluster fight, dude. In the second, third, fourth, Usman was kind of coasting, in my opinion, coasting to a decision, like he sometimes does. And out of nowhere, that head kick, beautiful punch.
It's just beautiful. The technique, everything, the timing, like it's just an amazing kick. It's going to be one of the greatest knockouts of all time. It already is. Like you're going to see this kick for years to come on the highlight reels, Marcel.
This is big, man. And Usman was on a 19-fight winning streak.
I know, dude. It's huge. It's like I said, like it changes his legacy. Like I was honestly during the fight, I was thinking, man, Usman really is one of the best fighters of all time. I still think that. I'm just saying, like when you're watching a fight in this fight, he's so complete. Like he can just really mix it better than anyone. I honestly think so. He is the better mixed martial artist, I think. The best so one. Too. But again, it doesn't matter because he got kicked in the head. He got knocked out. So
I mean, it's like what people say, the best, and that's not the best guy doesn't always win, you know. There's just moments like remember when I loved it when Bisping said to or when Bisping was talking to Musashi about Hall against Musashi 1. He's like, but you lost to Hall. And then he's like, yeah, but that was a fluke. The best guy doesn't always win. Look at you and Luke Rockhold the second time. that was actually fun.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
it's true though.
It's true, yeah.
MMA, like sometimes it's the best fighter that night in the moment too. I mean, Usman was the better fighter for 3 of the first 4 rounds, obviously, and then for most of the 5th round. Let me ask you a question. Just say he didn't get knocked out. Just say he got dropped.
Yeah.
And like Edwards tried to finish it, but he couldn't. Would that have been a 10-8 and then it's a draw at the end? You know, like I was thinking about that too. Like kind of crazy, right? Maybe, right?
Maybe.
It's such a brutal head kick.
I want to ask you.
So,
does Leon Edwards should be above Usman in the pound for pound rankings? That's one question.
I mean, I think you have to put. It's kind of crazy, right? Because again, he's losing most of the fight, but I think you probably have to do that, right? Like because he beat him.
You know what it is, Adam. Pound for pound has nothing to do with the normal ranking, you know. And pound for pound, Usman still has a better resume than Edwards has. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, it's like you put Edwards in 100%, you know, but Usman should be still in the top 4, in my opinion. You know, Volkanovski should be number 1. I think
he'll be number 1 now. Yeah, I think so. Volk, right?
He should 100% be number 1. Volk.
Yeah, he should. He's the most complete guy right now. I mean, well, I still think Usman is, but again, he lost. So
yeah.
It's just crazy, man. Again, like it's just one of those moments. Like it just shows you how special the sport is. All right, we have lots of comments, guys. When it gets them though. What's going on? We got Joe here. What's going on? Hurd gave Edwards a chance with the premature separation. I guess. I mean, I think he did a good job in the fight. We'll talk about some other refereeing in this card wasn't good. We'll talk about that. Sokovic and Leon Happy won. He looked awful. 3 of his 4 finishes in the UFC came in foul 2 minutes. Crazy, right? Isn't that insane? He beat Peter Savada 1 second left by knockout, and then Alexander Tumanov, he beat the 3rd round submission with 2 minutes left. Our boy Marcus, let's go fill for him today, guys. He had a huge bet on, I don't know if Marcel, if you saw this, he bet a parlay of Merab and Usman for $5K, and he lost that bet. You were a minute away. You know, Marcus, that's MMA, dude. You know how many times I've been a round away in a judge's scorecard and lose a split decision? I mean, it's brutal, right? It hurts so bad. I know how bad it hurts, Marcus. That sucks, man. I'm sorry, buddy. You were close, Marcus. You were a minute away, but, you know, and I know you do well anyways, Marcus. You know how the game is. What's your guys' opinion about separation stand-ups? I mean, it's MMA, right? So I feel like, you know, if you do get someone to the ground, you can hold them there. You probably shouldn't get stood up. But again, it's always been like, if you're not working, they'll stand you up. But I really think it comes from pride, right? Where they would give you the yellow card, Marcel, if you weren't working. And I feel like in the UFC, or in America, I should say, just under the unified rules, they'll just be they'll stand them up. We're not going to fine you, at least. I was pissed at Herb separating Usman Edwards 2 minutes left to 5th. Usman was working ever since the cage. He was. I do think Usman got a little bit tired. I also feel like Usman was like really walking forward with like really no regard for the power of Edwards. He didn't really respect it that much. Eventually, got caught with it. How crazy is this too? Last month we had 2 fights end by injury. TKO Marcel back-to-back weeks. Now we had 2 fights end with a left head kick knockout.
Yeah,
and both times the guy ducked into the knockout. Like the exact same thing with Cheeto and Dom with this fight. Well, I mean, this is one of them. The way he just like fell down like and just collapsed was insane. Hey Antoine, it was a good weekend, man. Glad to have you in the chat, buddy. Yeah, watch the fights. I went to a theme park with the family too, which was fun. Juan, I was thinking about you, dude, because you were talking about this in the chat last week. I got this guy credit. He did call these upsets. I mean, again, I definitely thought Leon could win. Tabura, Marcel, we did talk about the level of competition with Romanov. We were a little bit like, like his level of competition is not good, but I still thought he'd win, and I still think that fight should have been a draw, but we'll talk about that after. It is weird seeing Usman without the belt. That is strange, man. It's like with Amanda didn't have the belt. It's kind of the same thing to me. Would you rather have Edwards Chimaev or Edwards Usman 3? The trilogy, probably, just because I feel like there's unfinished business at this point, right?
Bro, 1,000%.
And most of the title fights right now are fucking rematches. You realize,
Also,
you seeing that, Marcel? Like a lot of the title fights are rematches, dude.
Also, I saw some people talking about Edwards Masvidal. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, Edwards is the one who said that. He wants to because he thinks it's a big money fight.
Masvidal's amazing. Do it when you're another champion, please.
Who's Masvidal fighting again? It's who's he rumored to fight? No one, right? Or Burns.
Yeah, but that's not.
If he beats Burns, then yeah, I think you could give him the title shot. Edwards is a broken fire for round 2 until he got the knockouts this Marcus. Probably. I mean, his coach. By the way, I gotta give his coaches a shout out. Coaches did a good job hyping him up. In that moment, you don't need technical advice. You just need someone to wake you the fuck up and say, "Dude, you have 5 minutes left. You have to knock this guy out." And he did. He got the job done, Marcel. But I got to give the cornerman a good shout out because I thought he did a really good job, just hyping getting his fire back in the world. Come on, Leon. You've worked so hard to get here. Come on, man. Wake up.
For me, most beautiful moment was when he got the knockout and he walked away smiling, and his brother jumped on his back. That
was awesome. Also, I like that he didn't have to follow up with after the kick.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of guys have jumped on that, but he was completely out cold, Marcel. It was like not even. Herb Dean ran as fast as he could to stop it. Thought fight was over as just a crazy head kick. I know it's crazy, isn't it? Imagine the booze of Wembley if Usman goes full Bilal mode. That's so funny. Probably. I mean, I told you guys, right? He has to wrestle, win the fight. On the feet, Marcel, he is a good striker, Usman, but Edwards is the better striker. I think a lot of us thought that. On the ground, though, Usman is better. Other than that first round where he made a mistake, he got taken down. By the way, first time he's been taken down officially, although I thought Colby did. First time he's been knocked down in the UFC too. So Edwards did a lot. And first time he's been knocked down in his career. So Edwards did a lot of crazy stuff. What's up, John? My jaw dropped when the moment happened. What an incredible moment. As for Usman's daughter, my heart broke. Yeah, it was crazy, John. I couldn't believe it. I literally was like on the bed. I was like this. Like my head flew up. Like I couldn't believe it. Like it's just crazy, Let's see here. Is this confirmed? Chavcat? Is that
not that I know. I don't. Probably Ariel Substack or something.
I'm not sure on it. If you have the link, throw it in the chat. Usman would never be. Hey, Michael, what's up, man? Usman would never be go to over GSP at one side. He beat the same 3 guys. He beat his guys pretty impressively, like with Masvidal, obviously Burns, and then Colby. But again, GSP had more title defense, and he fought different guys. So I still think GSP is the GOAT at 170 personally.
I agree. And
so going to see every move Usman showing him so much love for his performance, even winning the fight. I know.
I want to reply to that actually. I agree. I hate that as well. But you see, I mean, listen, man, there are a lot of Usman fans, but there are also a lot of people who don't like Usman, And you got that with more champions. You have a few champions, they got love from, I think Jiri Prochazka is a guy that people, almost everybody loves Jiri Prochazka, so you wouldn't see that quickly with him. I decided, listen, if he loses to Pereira, you're going to see it a lot as well. There are just some fighters who have really, if Makhachev loses to Oliveira, you're going to see it as well because there are a lot of fans of Makhachev and also a lot of fans who don't like the Makhachev and the whole Dagestani clan. You know what I mean? So you have that. I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of people do it, but it's what it is. You're not going to stop it.
For sure. Let's get some more comments here. Rudy, best sport in the world. Say it every day, man. It really is. Refs are so important. If Keith Pearson was reffing, Usman's likely still a champ. Better should know the refs and judges in advance. I agree with this completely. Usman did do his research, Dom Cruz. That's really funny, actually. Doughboy, oh my God, I'm still in shock. Me too, dude. I really am. I watched the knockout again this morning. I watched it on loop, so I watched it like 3 or 4 times. It's crazy. It's just so timed perfectly. The technique is flawless. I can't call it a lucky punch because I don't think it's lucky. I think he set it up beautifully, But it's just, again, shocking. I think it's more shocking than lucky, personally. What's up, Alex? How's it going, man? Crazy card, dude.
There he is, the Uber Jinx, Alex Bahuna.
Are you guys going to do UFC Paris after this? No, not this week. Not this week, Antoine. Next week. So the next podcast, we'll just do a short one at 6, just to go over Contender this week and then some fight announcements. And also the One Championship card. We'll talk about that for a few minutes.
Still got to figure out what we're going to do next week. We're going to also have 2 podcasts.
I have some ideas. I'll message you about it. But we'll still do it too at 5 o'clock next week too. If the UFC came to Netherlands for an event, would you go, Marcel? I think he's been, right? Didn't you go?
Yeah, I've been there 2016, 2017. I hope they come soon here, maybe end of the year, maybe next year, probably next year if they come. But big if, we only have one fighter in the UFC and she's not active. So it's like, probably our biggest star in the UFC is Henry Hooft from Killcliff FC. So
that's so funny. Yeah, I mean, last time was it Volkov and Struve, I think? That was yeah. And then you had a couple, was Musasi on that card? Was he on?
No, you had the main card was Volkov against Struve. We had CR against Wilkinson, Talita Bernardo against Mario Renault, and Barberina against Leon Edwards.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy, yeah. I respect Usman runs one side. He overlooked Leon and talked about 205. Agreed. What's up, Doug? How's it going, man? Glad to have you here. All right, so go ahead.
Can you imagine? Most people, and the first event was packed from the first fight, with Willie Gates against Oka Sasaki. But the second event, most people came in after Zabit's debut against Michael Santiago.
That's funny. Edwards got the bonus for performance of the night. What do you think about that? You think he had a performance of the night? He even said it was his worst performance in his career. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you can't look past that. You have to look past that. It's a knockout against the pound-for-pound king. You got to give it to him. You know what I mean? I was more surprised. I was more surprised to give it to Altamirano, which I'm totally fine with.
We'll talk about him in a few minutes.
I didn't expect that. So
Me too. A couple other comments. Wouldn't say luck. Was half court he used and it fell. Kind of, yeah. But again, I think he timed it perfectly. But you're right. I mean, it's just shocking, man. It really was a headshot. Yeah, Edwards is a good dude, man. I'm happy for him. Are you going to Paris? I don't think he is. You're not going, right, Marcel?
No, some of my colleagues go. I don't.
All right, let's go to the co-main event here. Paulo Costa defeats Luke Rockhold by decision. Decision. I mean, who thought this fight was going the 3 rounds? Fight of the night. It was a pretty weird fight, but I fucking really like this fight. I'll be honest with you. I know they were both tired, man. I get it. They were both, especially Luke, but a lot of the fighters in this card that normally have good gas tanks were exhausted after this first, second round. Marcel, I know Dana said they want to go back to Salt Lake City. I don't really think they should do events at this place, man. Dude, there were so many good fighters that have good cardio usually that gassed out really badly, horribly badly.
Yeah.
And it made for some interesting fights, but I just think I don't know, the elevation doesn't really mix well with MMA in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. And this happened before in Denver when they had that card. Remember they had those heavyweights? It was Mark Hunt fought Ben Rothwell. Remember that fight? It felt like it was in slow motion. You were watching it. So I'm just saying, especially why bring a heavyweight like Romanov and Tibur? We'll talk about those guys after.
If I think about a slow motion fight, can you remember the last time when Bob Sapp won against a Japanese sumo guy? I think after 1 or 2 minutes, they were both opposite each other.
Because I know Luke obviously come off a layoff, Marcel, and I know that obviously he's older now, but I've never seen him gas out like he did in this fight. It was kind of shocking. I can't believe he made the distance. I can't believe Luke went to 3 rounds. Costa, yeah, I mean we've seen him go 5. He's obviously a tank. This was a crazy fight, man. I mean, obviously Costa won the first round. Second round, I think he won all 3 rounds. I'll say that. But that second round, man, Rockhold landed some really big kicks to the body, Marcel. That was the same kicks that knocked out Costa Philippou. The same kicks. Didn't knock him out. Obviously, strong abdomen. And he landed some big punches and at the end, wiping his blood in his face. It was a crazy fight. Obviously, Costa won the fight, but I don't think it was his best performance. Rockhold, for me, it's more just surprising that how much heart he showed because we've seen him get knocked out. This is the first time he's ever lost a decision. So this is just not something we've seen from Rockhold where he actually didn't get knocked out in a loss. I thought the fight, if it went the distance, Marcel, he would be the one winning the fight. I'm really surprised the outcome of this fight cost him by decision. It just didn't seem like an outcome I thought where he would be using his wrestling to win the fight. Costa used his grappling to win this fight. Very surprising to me. Give me your thoughts on the fight, man. I think it deserved a fight tonight. It was a crazy fight, but again, they both got really tired at the end of the fight. Just give me your thoughts, man.
That blood thing, dude. I specifically posted that on the Eurosport page on Twitter, and I knew there was a lot of traction. People, is this a real sport? What the hell is this? There are a lot of cycling fans on there. They can suck it, but yeah, it's always funny to me. The fight, yeah, man. I mean, Rockhold was pretty much done after 3 minutes. He was so gassed. And man, I feel bad for him. Rockhold is typically a guy like his mind still wants to do it, but his body just doesn't want to go there anymore, And he went through a lot the last 3 years. My colleague did an interview with him. If you guys didn't see it, you can still check it on Eurosport. And yeah, I mean, I was surprised he could keep it so he could go 3 rounds so long. We were so tired. Still landed some good shots, but yeah, Costa won all 3 rounds in my opinion as well. Was it fight of the night? I don't really know. I don't think there was a better one, but it was. Let me say it like this: it was enjoyable fight, but if you look at quality, I think if I think anything from this fight, it's like Lucas is retired now, and actually Costa didn't fight that great, in my opinion. I think this Costa still gets beat by everybody who's above him right now. He's still got the knockout power probably, and that's also his go-to probably in the first round to knock somebody out or early second round. But I don't see it, man. I think he got a win here. Rockhold's going to stop with his MMA career, and I have all respect for Rockhold. He's done it all. He went to Strikeforce, 9-0, 2 title defenses, went to the UFC at a rough start, came back, nice win streak, took the title. Then, yeah, in my opinion, still underestimated Bisping the second time and got knocked out and never been the same fighter since that moment. Only got a win over David Branch and lost the other 3. So for me, like, it was a fun fight. It wasn't a great fight. It was an enjoyable fight, and win for Costa. But I don't think Costa looked that great. And for Rockhold, it's his last fight. So what can you say? I wish him all the best, dude.
Get some comments. So sure, shocked. Oh, you're talking about that fight. Rockhold shocked the world. Seeing him realize he retired, they go over the show like he did a special. I agree completely, man. I mean, he showed a lot of heart in this fight. Adam, do you shoot with your Rockstar drinker, Marcel? Not right now, man. I'll probably end up vomiting on the live stream. What's up, Gorilla? How's it going, man? Altitude Saturday night was a huge factor. Went to the 3rd round. I agree completely, man. I mean, a lot of fights. Like the AJ Fletcher guy was absolutely exhausted too. We'll talk about him in a few minutes. What's up, Dixon? Costa story didn't have path to the title 95. Good gatekeeper, mix it up. Yeah, he's tough. I really enjoy watching him fight. He's a really tough dude. 3 of his last 4 fights have been fight of the night. He didn't win for the Vittori fight because of the weight miss, but I think
also
fight of the night, right? Or Vittori won a bonus performance.
Adam, yeah, I gotta say, man, I was I wasn't in Paulo Costa's corner at all, because I told you before I think they shouldn't let him fight at 185 anymore. Mm-hmm. But he may wait, so it's all good now,
He looked good too.
Yeah. But USADA, what the hell, man? You're not gonna go.
I know. They shouldn't do that to him.
Yeah, I think
testing him while during his weight cut. That's not good.
UFC solved that now, or they talked to USADA about it. But that's bad. You shouldn't do that ever to a fighter when he's busy with his weight cut. That's just stupid.
I agree, and I agree with this comment too. I think Costa PFL is a good move. We're Bellator even. I'm just saying he's got one more fight in the UFC deal apparently. I thought it was over. I thought that's what he said. Now he's changed his mind. Now he's got one more. Okay, so. Who does he fight? I don't know. I mean, some of you guys are saying, like, he could fight the winner of Kennedy or Brunson or Kennedy or Strickland. I mean, Brunson's fighting Hermanson, the winner of that, maybe too. There's a lot of different options for him. But I just think, the path to the title is tough because of Adesanya, obviously. And then Vittori obviously beat him 2 knees above him. I think PFL he wins. I think he can win the belt 205 too. I don't think the PFL 205-pound weight class is great, Marcel. I got to be honest with you. I don't even really have a middleweight division. They don't think they did it this year. So Costa area got 35 show for the Vittori fight. That's insane. Terrible too. I mean, the pay is a huge issue. All right, let's get the next fight here. Merab Dvalishvili defeats Jose Aldo by unanimous decision. Not a great fight, Marcel. Let's be honest here. This was not the most exciting fight, but it was effective performance by Merab. Obviously, a lot of cage shoving. Gets the job done. I thought Aldo looked pretty bad in this fight, honestly. I think he finally showed his age a little bit, Marcel. He wasn't able to throw strikes. I think he had a really bad weight cut. It looked like he had a hard weight cut on Friday. He was one of the last guys to weigh in. He had to use the box. And now apparently, Merab's saying now that Aldo told him he's going to retire after the fight because he's like, I'm not going to get a title shot, so I'm going to retire. So it's interesting. I hope Aldo keeps fighting. I enjoy watching him fight, but I think 135 is a tough cut for him, man. So we'll see what he does. Merab, 8 straight wins, 8-2 in the UFC, but Dana White was really not happy with his performance, Marcel. I know you saw the post-fight presser. Mm-hmm. He wasn't impressed at all, and he just Merab didn't call for Aljamain. Doesn't seem like he wants to fight that bad for the belt. he's gonna have to fight again. So he's gonna fight again. He's kind of in the John Fitch territory right now.
He doesn't want to fight Aljamain, so
I know. So here's the option: does he go to flyweight and fight like Pantoja for a number one contender? Is that what he does? Is that the option? Or does his friend vacate the belt and then he goes up? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand it. It is a team sport in MMA, kind of, because you're on the same team with guys, but it's also an individual sport at heart. Man, I got to be honest. Like, maybe I'm a selfish person, but like, I wouldn't give up my belt just so my teammate could fight for it. I'm just being honest. Like, I wouldn't do it. Like, GSP didn't even do it. I guess at the end he did, the very end of his career, but he had like nine title defenses. He was like, all right, Rory could potentially fight for it. But in this case, like, Aldo's got what, one title defense? Like, you know, I just don't see it. I think he'll keep fighting at the weight class. So I think Merab's going to have to do something different. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts, man.
Let's go to the fight first. The fight, yeah, man. I mean, in my opinion, Aldo was too busy with making sure he wasn't getting taken down. You know, so he couldn't get his own game going. Still won the first round, in my opinion. That's Merab second and third.
Yeah.
Wasn't a bad fight. It wasn't a great fight, you know, but I mean, Merab did what he had to do. You know what you expect from the dude? Gonna strike with Aldo, you know? It's not gonna do that. He was the guy who put him under pressure. Aldo didn't do a lot in the second and third round, so he won, you know. And for Dana always has something to complain, you know what I mean? So I think it was a great performance by Merab by any means, but still his biggest win in the UFC against legend, you know, and still a good fighter in Aldo. So, but the thing is, Aljamain is fighting TJ in October, you know, and Aljamain still has to win for us against TJ. Imagine if he doesn't win, you know. Then we probably get TJ against either Vera or the winner of Peter Yan against Sean O'Malley. I expect Merab to fight someone else. Aldo has to probably also fight someone else. I don't think he gets an immediate rematch against TJ if he loses. So then it's still open, you know. The UFC can choose who they want to see fight for a title. So I don't think his path in this division is done yet, because I'm not sure if Aldo keeps the belt. You know what I mean? It's not a guarantee, because TJ, in my opinion, is a more complete fighter than Aldo. But how good is TJ still? You know, I don't know, because I wasn't convinced with the Sandhagen fight. So we'll have to see. So for me to give an answer to your question about what's next for Merab, I still think he gets at least one more title contender fight before fighting for a title. That can be against so many guys, you know. And it really depends on what's happened to Aldo in the title fight, what's going to happen after that fight. So we'll have to see how that pans out. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other comments here.
Also,
go ahead.
I don't like that Merab said in the media what Aldo said to him, that he's probably going to retire.
Yeah, that's what people in the comments are talking about right now. So that's what I'm seeing there. Doug's a little critical of his performance. Yeah, it wasn't his best performance. He got the job done, like you guys said, but it's not going to give him a title shot, you know? It's a hard fight, though. I mean, Aldo's got the best. You know what, Marcel? Honestly, he's got to have the best takedown defense ever, right? Like, and he showed that in this fight. It's amazing. Like, it's so good. Aldo and Santos both had tough cuts. They both didn't look good at all. Like, especially Santos, he looked really bad. Aldo and Leo Santos will travel, train at Novo Union Rio de Janeiro, flew on Tuesday, paid the price, 100%. Elevation was huge on this card. Yeah. It really was. The guy's the better cardio, won most of the fights. All right, let's get to the next fight here. Go through this one quick. You know, this fight was pretty bad. I got to be honest, up until the finish. The finish came nasty. It was brutal and fast and nasty from Pudilova getting this, like, just nasty finish. And I think she was in the running maybe for a bonus up until the Edwards head kick, just because it was such a nasty finish. But the fight was pretty bad, I thought, Marcel. It shouldn't have been on the main card. But yeah, Pudilova gets the knockout. Wu Yan is 1-5 in the UFC. She's going to be released, I think. I don't think she's good enough for the UFC. Anyways, thoughts quickly?
Yeah, why the hell was this on the main card? Because they wanted to make the ABC prelims a little bit more cute, you know? I don't know. It's just stupid, you know? And still, listen, man, people will say, oh, it delivered. Somebody got to finish. Listen, man, a girl was 1-5, another girl was 2-5 or whatever, 2-6. Shouldn't be on the main card. Definitely not on the pay-per-view main card, you know? So I think Wu is done in the UFC. And no disrespect to her, but she should be done. Her only win is against Laura Mueller, who hasn't been in the UFC for almost 2 or 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
Pudilova, yeah, she got back in the UFC. This was a return fight, so it's a good win, you know. But Yeah, I'm still not convinced. I think what was that with the weigh-in, man? Super weird. Many people thought that was cool or whatever. It's cool when it's like those guys or girls having a feud, and they are
Yeah,
they
yeah.
put it some more. How do you say that? Some more sauce to the already boiling over stuff, But this was like, what the hell,
Yeah, yeah.
You can try to sell a fight. What's not going to sell, still not going to sell after that weigh-in. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. Elu, I was actually at that fight. Aldo and Volkanovski in Brazil. I was at that fight. He just shoved him against the fence for like basically 50 minutes. Very similar fight. Very similar fight. You guys surprised the UFC didn't have Lazy King for UFC
Yeah.
Paris? I am. I thought he'd get in. Next fight here, Terry Hunsucker gets knocked out again by Tyson Pedro. 1 minute and 5 seconds. I mean, did we expect the fight to go any differently? We even talked about it last week. We're like Marcel, like, is this fight going to go any other differently? Probably not. And it just, yeah, I mean, this fight shouldn't have been sanctioned, to be honest with you. Like, I don't even understand the point of this fight. What was the point of this fight? To get Pedro an easy win? Like, what did it prove to anyone? I just, the last fight I understood with Ike because he was coming off the layoff, but like once he got that fight in, like, why did they need to do another squash match? Harry Hunsucker 7-6 with 6 knockout losses, guys. He's 0-3 in the UFC plus 0-1 in Contender. His UFC stats is not very pretty to look at. 4 first-round losses here. I think he's going to be released more, so I can't see any way he gets another fight in the UFC, to be honest with you.
I mean, the only upside here for Harry Hunsucker is that he lost weight, So I'll always root for these fat guys like myself, to lose weight. So I'm happy for him. But yeah, let's be honest, man. This fight was made to do Pedro look good again, and for Hunsucker, probably his last one. If they really want to paint Hunsucker a little bit more and find another Australian, they maybe sign Junior Tafa. And they let him debut against Harry
fights
Hunsucker.
Jimmy Crute against
Yeah, that's a little bit too much. That's why I said Junior Tafa, but Jimmy Crute would be a little bit crazy with Carlos Alberg.
It's possible that he could get more of a fight against like someone from Contender that they bring in because he does have a fight left in his deal. But Marcel, come on, this guy shouldn't be the UFC.
Like, of course he shouldn't have been. He's been finishing every single fight in the first round. He got finished by Justin Tafa. He got finished by Tai Tuivasa, and now by his brother-in-law Tyson Pedro. So it's almost a family affair between the Australians against Harry Hunsucker. So it's like, no disrespect to the dude, but he also do bad against Jared Vandera in the Contender series.
I know.
You know what I mean? So,
I know, and then Jared's probably the worst guy in the division right now. Well, yeah, I mean he's up there.
Let's say one of the
one of the because like he beat Justin Tafa too, and Tafa's not very good, but he also knocked out Hunsucker. All right, prelims now. Marcin Tybura defeats Alexander Romanov, majority decision. I gotta be honest, guys. I think this fight's a clear draw. Like the first round, definitely 10-8. He outlanded him. Significant strikes 14-0. Tybura didn't land a significant strike, and then total strikes 64-1. 2 takedowns, 4.5 minutes of ground control. Like what else do you want? He basically pitched the shutout. That's a 10-8 round. Obviously gassed out after that and lost the last 2 rounds. And good for Tybura for pulling off the upset. But like I just think it's a bad scorecard. And of course, Marcel, like only had one judge give it a draw. Surprisingly, Derek Clear. I thought Mike Bell would give it a draw. I thought he would be the judge to give it a draw. To me, Marcel, this was a draw. What do you think?
If somebody had to win, it was Tybura, but I thought it was a draw as well. I think it was a 10-8 the first round. I had to laugh when John Anik said, like, Tybura landed the whole donut of significant strikes in the first round, so 0. Mm-hmm. Second and third round for Tybura. Romanov was gassed, man. It's not the first time it happens to him,
I know. The Juan Espino fight too, man.
Yeah. And he faked the nut shot. He wasn't touching the nuts. He faked the nut shot, which was weird as well. Man. I mean, I hate draws. I hate draws for the simple reason that the UFC keeps a win bonus in their pocket.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if somebody has to win, give it to at least someone. This was more a draw than the draw we had earlier.
I know. We'll talk about that fight as well.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that one. All right. Next fight, Jared Gordon defeats Leo Santos, unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Good matchup for Jared Gordon. I mean, he's fighting a guy that has, the older guy with bad cardio, basically, and he's a cardio machine. I thought he looked pretty good in the fight. Couldn't get the finish, but got the job done. I do think he could have stopped the fight in the third round. I don't really think the guy was defending at all, to be honest with you. He just moved enough, I guess, where the ref didn't stop it. But anyways, Jared Gordon gets the win here. Calls out Paddy Pimblett after the fight. Basically said that like he had a friend that also died recently, and then Paddy had a friend that died. and he thinks that they could do like really good work together for like mental health awareness and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. And he basically said he really likes Paddy, but he just thinks it's a good fight for him. So I actually wouldn't mind that fight, but I don't think the UFC will do it. I think Gordon can win that fight, and it wouldn't be exciting if he won. You know, he could take him down to the ground and control him. So I don't know, man. What do you think's next for this guy?
For Gordon or for Paddy?
Yeah, do you think they'd fight each other?
No, probably not. You
It's been
know,
rumored before. Remember Dana White said it a while ago. Remember?
that's probably a worse fighter in the division with a good record than Jared Gordon. So they don't give it to Paddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Was a good performance or was it an okay performance by Gordon? But was it the fight I will remember in the next year? You know what I mean?
No, of course not. No, he did a good job. He landed over 100 significant strikes, so I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
I agree, John. It was a horrible game plan by Santos. Santos 3 straight losses, 42 years old. He might get one more fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets one more, but like I don't know, man. I think he's
done. I think
he's at the end of the road too. He looked terrible in this fight. Let's be honest.
But besides that, I think he will probably earn a little bit more than the normal guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He's been with the company for so long. You're right.
Yeah, and he won a lot before, so
I agree. All right, let's talk about the weirdest fight of the card. This fight is so fucking weird. Sean Woodson and Luis Sidon fight to a split draw. Just bizarre. We'll talk about the first. We'll talk about the whole fight. First round. I mean, Saldana looked fucking great. Like, he looked great. And I'm watching this fight, guys, and I'm like, man, like, how bad does Woodson look? It was a horrible performance by Sean Woodson, in my opinion. I can't believe how bad he looked. The last fight, he looked like one of the better fighters in the division. Then it comes out. I know it's been a long layoff. It was 9 months, and I thought he looked better. He looked worse. He looked terrible. Saldana was completely controlling with the striking and then drops him. Okay, so I'm watching the fight, drops him, and I'm like, okay, follow up on him, dude. What are you doing? Like, doesn't follow up on him on the ground, guys. Lets it back up. And I'm like, okay, I guess he's going for that like killer shot to get a 50K bonus. I can kind of get that. Like, you know, he wants to get that walk-off knockout. I get it. I don't agree with it because I think he should have pounced on him right there, but lets him back up. Bang again. And then throws an illegal knee that obviously hurts Woodson. And he didn't have to throw the legal knee. He could have just finished with strikes at that point. The ref would have stopped the fight because it was a second knockdown. He was obviously hurt, Woodson. But he throws an illegal knee. And then here's where it gets really weird. Obviously, Woodson didn't take the full 5 minutes. Woodson, I think, could have taken an automatic DQ at that point. We've seen that happen many times, or even a no contest, but chose to continue to fight instead, but didn't take his full 5 minutes. 1 point deduction. I think to be honest with you, I think it should have been 2 points because it's such a brutal, egregious foul. It should have been 2 points, but it's 1. Then the fight continues, but the rest of the fight's fucking weird too. You know, the first round's weird, and then the second round, Saldana's winning most of the round. Then all of a sudden, once he gets the first buggy choke almost in UFC history, and then the third round, it didn't seem like either guy really wanted it that bad. Really, it was a close round. And then you have, the tabulation of the scorecards takes forever. You know something's off on the scorecards. Then you have 3 different scorecards. Just really weird. And for me, the number one thing here is that the first round was not 10-8, or it should be 9-8 because of the point addiction. But to me, Marcel, only one judge, that is Rick Montanez, gave it 9-8. Or sorry, I'm wrong. Sorry. None of the judges gave it 10-9. My apologies. I think, okay, so the first round should have been 10-8, but with point deduction 9-8. And if that happened, then if Michael Bell did that, then Saldana would have won the fight by a point. I think that's a clear 10-8. I mean, he basically knocked him out like twice. What else more do you need for 10-8? Again, 9-8 with the point deduction. I thought Saldana still won the fight, though. I got to be honest, guys. I thought he won the fight. I just think the scores are a little off of this one. I got to get your thoughts. It's a very weird fight. Just give me your thoughts.
So yeah, Saldana, in my opinion, he should have got the 2-point deduction as well. We actually DM'd each other about it right after it happened. I was like, Beltran should have took 2 points because that was that bad of a fall, you know. And he even followed up with even more punches after that knee. So I think he had a huge adrenaline dump after that. You know, he was super. Yeah, he was super hyped, and you thought it was over. And then he had to restart again. I think Saldana won the fight, but I'm actually cool with the draw because I think you should learn from your mistakes, and he made a huge mistake here. You know, listen, man, he fought super cocky in my opinion. Brought his whole 2 IQ to this fight. I mean, what the hell was he doing? You know, he knocked him down first. He was he was actually doing what Nate Landwehr did, but at least Nate Landwehr was also really winning at that moment. He was also, but Onama couldn't do anything back at that moment, you know. And for Woodson, he pretty much let Woodson come back into the fight the first
I
time.
know.
And the second time, what the hell are you doing with that knee? I don't understand that at all, you know. In my opinion, should have got 2 points deduction, in my opinion. So I'm absolutely cool with the draw. But yeah, if you go like from a neutral perspective, you look at it, Saldana still should have won the fight, in my opinion, you know, even with point deduction.
I agree.
So yeah, it's just super weird, man. It's like how can you rob yourself from a win bonus, right?
Dana
Or
White said
even
he would have got a $50,000 bonus too. He said that to
yeah,
Kessler.
exactly. So
Guy he played himself, bro. He really did.
I don't understand it. This would have been the first time, in my opinion, he got a legit win in the UFC. You know what I mean? He is one. He's 2-1, but I think these 2 wins he should have got the decision win. So this should have been his first legit win for him in the UFC. But he completely played himself, man. I can't understand that. And definitely, if you're 2-1 on your deal, you know, you want to put that explanation point on that fourth fight.
This guy screwed himself so bad financially now. Like that was probably the last fight of his contract, right?
Yeah.
He might get re-signed, but it wouldn't be as much
Probably.
money now as if he got the bonus, right?
Exactly.
Guy completely played himself. That was probably the worst fight at UFC in UFC history, maybe. Yeah. It's got to be up there.
This is
Andre Sukutan and Sean O'Malley, remember?
What I want to say. Yeah.
It's got to be up there, right? It has to be, right? Like, this is just stupid. The guy had the win in the bag and gave it away. Really weird. Really, really weird. So strange.
I was like, what the hell is he doing?
I know. What's up, man? How's it going? We're doing good. And by the way, this is the last fight with Gordon. He actually said at the presser, they were like, did you grab the fence? He's like, yeah, I definitely grabbed the fence. I cheated. I know I grabbed the fence. Like, he admitted it. Hey, the ref didn't stop him, man. He said Herb let it go, so I grabbed it. I don't blame him, dude. The ref's not going to do shit about it, then grab it.
Yeah, but the thing is also, like, you always get a warning when you grab the fence. They never take a point immediately.
They should take a point right away, or they should drop you position on the ground. Like, you know, Woodson needs to move up. He looked really bad this fight. I can't believe how bad he looked, Marcel. Like, he looked so bad. Just a weird fucking fight, guys. That buggy choke would have been crazy, though. If he got the choke, that would have been insane.
Dude, they were like, how long? 2 minutes in that position? Imagine somebody who never watched MMA tune in and saw that. You have to explain it.
That was crazy. All right, a couple more fights here. Angelosa defeats AJ Fletcher. Good pick here, Marcel. You know, I thought it was a pretty good fight until the third round where they just got complete gassed out. But that second round where Fletcher left it all out there and just tried to knock him out, that was absolutely insane. I can't believe Losa actually survived that. I think a lot of refs stopped the fight there.
What a chin.
Amazing chin. And just the fact he was able to stay in the fight and not like turn his back, because he just barely didn't turn his back. He just kept his head forward. I think if he turns his back, the ref steps in and stops it right away. So I think he did a good job. The ref did a good job. It was a good fight until the third round where they both just completely exhausted. You know, Fletcher, Marcel, we talked about it. The reach, it's shortest reach in the welterweight division. He's gonna have to move to lightweight or something. I don't think he can be competitive in this weight class. Now he's, you know, obviously lost to 2 decent guys, but the reach is too short. He can't stand in the pocket and trade because he'll get outgunned every single time.
I mean,
I thought he was gonna go to the ground in this fight. He didn't. He chose to stand in trading. It really paid for it. Go ahead.
Angelosa and Matthew Samuelsberger are just decent fighters in the division. You know, it's not the top of the table or top 15. So I think he definitely needs to do something. People were comparing this Angelosa Fletcher thing to Derek Lewis against Pavlovich. I think completely different. You know, Lewis fell face down and woke up immediately, and Lewis never fell face down, but if the referees would have stepped in, I don't think many people would have complained about it. You know, that's how it looked. But Lewis was never really out of the fight. And he came back in the third round, got a good third round because Fletcher was completely gassed. I think even I gave him a 10-8 in the third round. So, good win for Lewis. You know, good win. Second fight in the UFC, this time with a full fight camp. Good win.
Absolutely. Couple other fights here, guys. We'll wrap this up. Emir Albazi looked amazing. Quick submission over Figueiredo. He definitely looked like a minus 500 favorite. He looked great. Mm-hmm. I think this guy's really good. I'm curious to see who they match him up with next. What are you thinking for him? Where's he ranked anyways? He's ranked, I think, right?
Actually, give him an Cap.
Cap would be a good fight. I was thinking Jeff Molina. He doesn't have a fight, I don't believe.
Yeah,
that's
also
good.
A good one.
Tim Elliott would be a good fight. I don't know if he has a fight book. That would be good. I want to say he was it him. They call it Dvorak. One of these guys called it Dvorak. One of the flyweight guys did. I think it might have been him 100%. But
I haven't heard it. But
yeah, I watched the post fight, but it was either him or the other guy, Aldo Marino. One of them called out Dvorak, so he makes sense too. Anyways, he looked really good. Arichi Lang Marcel, that was a guy I really like. I know you like him too. Definitely won this fight against Jay Perrin. Yes,
third round, dude.
Third round was sketchy, man. I mean, it wasn't a good round for him. His cardio definitely faded, which I'm surprised by because he doesn't have to cut as much weight. But again, just the altitude, I think, hurt him too. But definitely won the fight. And then you talked about this earlier. Aldo Marino knocks out Daniel Silva. A pretty crazy fight to open the card. He gets dropped like in the first minute of the fight, and I'm like, oh wow. And then comes back and just the elbows he landed were so brutal. The referee was way too late stopping this fight. The fight should have stopped way sooner than he did. But Aldo Marino gets the win, the performance bonus. Good for him, man. This is a guy who's been around for a long time fighting in the LFA and stuff, so it's good to see him in the UFC doing well. Overall, it was a pretty good card. Some pretty crazy moments, some pretty crazy fights, I think. Just your thoughts on the last few fights and just the card in general before we just recap some other stuff.
I'll give it a 7. I think it was an okay card. Last fight, or the first fight, Aldo Marino against Daniel da Silva Lacerda or whatever. I still think he's not a bad fighter, and you saw in the first round, like he did well, but he got crumbled by the body shot. Probably he's done there, 3 losses, but I would love to see a fourth fight of his. I don't think he's that bad. Yeah, for Aldo Marino, good win, man. He needed that as well with the loss to Carlos Hernandez last time, the split decision. Yep. So good win.
Abazi getting the Sweden card, probably. I see Marcus.
Sweden card is not happening, dude.
Why? What happened?
That's what I've heard, that it's not happening.
Oh, okay. So that sucks. And the Maverick fight got canceled. We didn't talk about that. I really liked her in that fight. I thought she was going to finish. Marcus has got a question about Ferguson and Leach, but we're going to save it for the next podcast. Marcus, 10 minutes from now, we'll talk about that fight. All right, that's it for UFC 278. It's crazy. Again, we put so much work into this, and we anticipate these fights for so long, and then once they're over, I always get kind of emotional, Marcel, because I missed the talk about the fights from that week, and not knowing what happens. Now we know what happens, so. It's over. It's over. All right, let's get to the Contender series from last week, guys. We'll recap that quickly. So Esteban Rivas, he knocks out Thomas Paul, gets the contract. Claudio Ribeiro, great knockout here over Ivan. He gets a contract. Jose Johnson wins a decision. He gets a contract. Haley Cowan wins a decision. She gets a contract. And Nazim Sadikov gets a knockout. He gets a decision. So everyone got a contract. Right?
At the left what Dana said, like, Haley Cowan, I don't know about the performance, but I really like her somehow. So I was like, yeah, damn right, I know why you like her, but I'm happy for her. She has been doing very well in the regional circuit for a long time. So I don't think it was that great of a fight.
I don't know if her and John. I mean, her Johnson were kind of on the fence for me. Like those divisions are like obviously shallower, so I think that's why. Marcel, if this is a lightweight, they don't get it, I don't think. You know what I mean?
You know what it is, man, with Johnson? He had a good opponent, dude. Jack Cartwright is a good opponent, so I would have given him a contract, actually. Yeah. Because Jack Cartwright hadn't lost so far in MMA, and he was pretty good in Cage Warriors, dude. So I understand that they give Johnson that contract. And Dana said he went off a story from Johnson, but I would have gave him a contract if he beat a Cartwright anyway. So.
Yeah, I agree. Grateful Dude says he thought Cowan might have lost. It was very close. I do think the other girl will get in the UFC eventually, Claudia Lech. She'll get in the UFC too. All right, so that's it for Contender. We'll quickly do PFL, Marcel, as well, and then we'll start the next show in a minute here, guys. Let's just go through PFL really quickly. I got to be honest, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was away. I went to the theme park with the family, Marcel, so I didn't watch this on last week's.
Actually,
what?
How was the golfing with James and Cole?
Oh, yeah, I didn't talk about that. It was really good. We went yesterday. I saw those guys. I haven't seen James Lynch in a while. He's a good friend of mine, but back here in Toronto area, and obviously Cole Sheldon, another friend of the podcast. It was awesome, man. We had a good time. Awesome. And, it was awesome. It was really fun. So thanks for asking. All right, let's go through this card really quick, PFL. Kayla Harrison, I mean, this is a complete joke at this point. I'm surprised the under was only minus 250 for this fight. I mean, these opponents she has are just not on her level. Brandon Lofton, I remember I said the odds were a little off on this one. That was a guy I thought that had a good chance. He was an underdog, beats Chris Wade, goes to the finals. He's fighting Bubba Jenkins, who got a finish. Who do you favor in that fight? Bob Jenkins and Brendan Loughnane. Who do you
Brendan
favor?
Loughnane, I do actually.
I think so too a little bit. I got to be honest with you guys. So I'm really curious to see the odds in that one because listen, Bubba's look good, but man, I've watched the fight for a long time, and he's a guy that can lose big fights. So I'm kind of favor Loughnane a little bit, especially if he keeps it standing. There's Checo, she gets the win. I mean, listen, like she's the best fighter outside of Harrison in the weight class, but she's already lost to her twice. I can't see the fight going differently. You had a couple other prospects like Dakota Decheva, she had to finish. Simeon Powell had to finish. Marcin Held had to finish. So, yeah, again, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but obviously I am paying attention to the finals. So that's interesting. And then they want to mention this because it's a guy that I've said overrated for a while, MVP Michael Venom Page. He loses to Mike Perry. Again, I didn't see the fight, so I can't really say anything, but I do know that he lost the decision in like overtime or something. Did you watch that fight? Did you see it?
Well, 6 rounds, I think, but no, I haven't. No.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not that interested in big KFC, to be honest.
Yeah, same. I mean, I am a little surprised that that he got the win because he was the underdog in the fight, but MVP is not as great as people think. All right, I think that's it for this one. Marcel, we'll start up the next podcast here, guys. So just really quickly, plug your stuff and we'll get out of here.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, and still Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts section for the articles. They are in Dutch, so you don't have anything on it probably. But just
yeah. Few housekeeping notes. Okay, so Twitter at MMAOB Podcast, MMAOBspeaker.com. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it. You can download the podcast as well, listen to it audio form, or watch the video, of course. Bookies.com for my best bets. None this week, but next week we'll have some. And then Miami News for some news. Housekeeping, we'll do another podcast right now. We're just going to do some like fight announcements and stuff and Contender series for this week, for next week, I should say. And for next week, but back on Monday, 5 p.m., we'll preview UFC Paris, and we'll do another show where we just do some fight announcements and stuff like that because we obviously don't have the UFC card this weekend. All right, we'll see you guys on the other side, and I'm going to start a new podcast and stuff.